Hello, ladies. I think I'm live. Why is this cutting off my head here? All right. Hey, how are you guys doing? I'll do a quick check-in. I know today is an interesting day in the life of us here in the United States. So quick check-in. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're giving yourself grace today, because I think a lot of people experience a lot of different emotions. There's anxiety, there might be disappointment, there might be confusion, and I just want to offer to you that all of that is okay. It's okay to feel all of the feelings today. Don't try to push it away. Don't distract yourself from it. Allow yourself to feel it. You don't have to react or respond, but just allow yourself to feel that. Whether it's, slight anxiety or nervousness, just allow yourself to feel that today. And give yourself some grace and compassion. Don't be hard on yourself about this, because it can feel like a lot. So that's my spiel on that. I hope that you have had a chance to work on that 1010 Life worksheet. And if you haven't, it's in the file section of our group and you can fill that out. But here's what I want to say about that. If you have completed it, make sure that you have been 100% honest with yourself. Make sure you've been honest about where you really are without judging yourself about it. You don't have to judge yourself about where you are right now, but at least be honest about where you are right now, because that's the only way we really know where we're going, right? We have to know where we're starting in order to get where we're going, right? In order to really see that path. And so when you're filling out that worksheet, be honest with yourself, but not from a place where you're judging yourself, or where you're feeling shame or embarrassment. All of that is a choice. Shame, embarrassment, guilt, all of that is a choice, my friends. You could choose to feel shame about where you are or what you've done in your past, or you could choose to use it as a stepping stone to where you're going, to who you're becoming, to creating that best version of yourself. So make sure that if you have done that sheet, that you've just been really honest about where you are, and then that you've allowed yourself the opportunity and that you've allowed yourself to just dream, right, without restrictions. You're writing it down on a piece of paper, probably for the first time for a lot of you. Just allow yourself to dream honestly on that end too. Like, what do you really want out of life, without trying to figure out how you're going to get there. And then today, I want to talk about actions and thoughts. Your thoughts versus what is going on outside in the world. Those circumstances that you can't control, your environment, other people. Because we look at our external world and we have these thoughts about it. We base our thoughts on it, which then of course create our feelings. So, for instance, you might look at the scale or your bank account and you look at that number, your balance, or whatever your weight is, and you make it mean something about you, whether it's negative or positive. So, if it's a number that you don't like and you don't catch that thought that you're making it mean something about you, then you're going to continue to think the thoughts that got you at that weight or got you at that balance in your account. But what I want us to start doing, and the way that I want all of us to start thinking instead, is that we look at the external as it is, but we don't use that as a determinant for how we're thinking. So I want you to think about this in relation to your 1010 life. Once you finish that sheet, and once you know this is the best life I could imagine for myself, I want you to think about that, and then think about who you are when you're living that life, right? So think about your 1010 life, your best life ever, and think about the woman that you are living that life. That means, what do you think about? What kind of things do you do? Where do you go? Who do you spend time with? What kind of clothes do you wear? What kind of books do you read? Like, What are the standards that you have as the woman who is already living this life that you have created? Your version of the 1010 life. I want you to think really deeply about the things that you would do as this version of yourself, living this version of your 1010 life. And how does that compare to where you are right now? What's the difference? And again, this is coming from a place not of judgment, but just of awareness. So for me, if I think about, my 1010, part of my 1010 life is really just being healthy and in shape, riding that bike more than I do, and creating a lifestyle where that's just who I am. I'm just somebody that takes really good care of my physical body. So when I think about that version of me, what I think about is planning my meals in advance. What I think about is exercising even when I don't feel like it, right? What I do or who I hang out with are other people that feel the same way. So that's what I mean when I say think about the future version of you and the things that she would do. This helps because even last night, for example, I told you guys last week, one of the standards I have for myself is that I'm a woman who keeps a clean and tidy house and a beautiful space. And I cooked dinner and I was so frustrated because the dishes were left and everybody just like walked away like it was a restaurant. And I started to get frustrated, but then I thought, no, you know what? I'm a woman who keeps a clean and tidy house, and so I'm not going to be frustrated. Like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to clean up the kitchen and have it look the way that I want, because this is the way that a woman who keeps a clean and tidy house thinks, right? So I didn't get upset. I was just like, no, I'm just going to do it, and that's what I did. So I want you guys to be thinking about all of the things that you would do, or a woman who has your dream life, all of the things that she would do, all of the things that she would think, all of the books she would read, all of those things, because it's going to reinforce the thought, right? The internal. So what we want is for you to not only be thinking about yourself in a new way, but creating an external environment that reinforces that. So we're working from two different angles here, right? So I want you to not only think about, you as this future version of yourself, but also think about the things that you would do and then start doing those things. Because again, if your external environment doesn't reflect what you're thinking, it becomes more difficult. It's easier if you're thinking, for instance, that you want to elevate in your career, right? You want to be a CEO. You want to be a business owner. If you think that way, and to you, when you think about that future version and you think about what a CEO dresses like, or what types of books she reads, or the people that she hangs around, and you start doing those things, it's going to create even more convincing evidence for your brain that this is just who you are. So what we want to do is work on the future version of you, again, from two angles. Self-image is such an important part of that. Self-concept, like who you really believe that you are, is so important. And so as you're completing your version of your best life, your 1010 life, I really want you to think about who you become, who you are, living that life, and start to move towards that. So what that means is I want you guys to pick one thought to practice every single day. And I say practice because it's not something that you would normally think, right? I don't go around thinking, well, I want to have a multi-million-dollar business. I don't think that every day, but I want you guys to, but that's my version of a 10-10 life, right? That I have a very successful business where I'm helping hundreds of thousands of women, right? And so I want you guys to pick one of the things from your 10-10 life, one of the areas, and practice thinking a new thought about you. Practice thinking that, and then I want you to pick one standard that lines up with that new thought. One standard, one new behavior, one change that lines up with the thought that you're going to practice, and also practice that. so that you're shifting your external environment. So again, for me, it's you guys might have seen I buy flowers every week. That's one practice that I'm putting in place for the thought that I'm a woman that has beautiful surroundings and that keeps a clean and tidy house. So I hope that makes sense. So pick one thought and one standard. It does not have to cost you a lot of money. It doesn't have to cost you money at all, right? So don't feel like you got to go out and you just got to spend money on new clothes, and you don't, right? If you want to, great. If you don't, you don't have to. But I want you to pick a thought to practice and practice it every day, meaning you're thinking it on purpose every single day, and you're also practicing the standard that affects your external environment every single day, so that again you're reinforcing that belief that this is just who you are. And we'll talk about it further next week, but I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, put it in the group and we can talk about it. If you want a deeper level of accountability, if you want to get more clarity and a plan of action to really help you implement this on a deeper level to reach your goals quicker, message me. I'll put a link in the comments for you to apply for one-on-one coaching. So you can start in November, like making plans for 2021 to be the best year ever, right? You can start creating that now, and I'll help you out with that.